Drake is cheating at gambling.
So as it turns out, Bloomberg done their own investigation into the Drake and Steak allegations and our lawsuit and our alleged playing with house money. And they have come to the conclusion that, that's
Stake.com is the biggest crypto casino in the world, and it got there in part thanks to viral videos by some of the world's biggest influencers. People had suspected for a long time that some of the influencers advertising Stake were winning maybe a little bit more often than the average person, but we actually did the math, and what we found was pretty shocking. Stake.com online is inescapable. It's everywhere. But the most important part of its marketing is its use of influencers and its use of social media. These streamers are betting cartoon sums of money.
Dude's just chilling with $9.7 million in his account.
Stake also pays a thousands strong group of contractors to clip videos from these live streams and scatter them across the internet. Biggest name Stake has in its influencer stable is the rapper Drake. He plays slots, he plays roulette, anything you can imagine. When he's live streaming, it's this huge event, big production. He'll bring in guest stars. But in addition to Drake, Stake has tapped a lot of famous gaming influencers.
$1,200.
We analyzed 500 hours of live slots on Stake.com by 25 different streamers. What we found was that Drake won 4 times more often than other streamers when he played games that were owned by Stake's parent company.
What's up, world? Your boy Challz Brown back again talking facts. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit notification bell. Keep sending those cash outs to CLBMG. Join that membership and all you buying that merch down below. Gang, listen, before we get started, I need you to go down in my description. Hit that Temu link. You already use Temu. Use my link to do it. Gang, listen. A few months ago, I want to say around January 2nd, I did a video that Drake was a terrible criminal, and I used the phrase from Jay-Z's song. It said, "We're not even going to speak about Murder, Inc. that just establishes a deeper, darker criminal link." And I was talking about the link between Drake and Ed Craven, the Stake, the owner of Stake, Bijan Tarani, and Aiden Ross, and all these things that they had going on because they went and got themselves in a little bit of trouble. They got a civil RICO, a class action lawsuit that was directed at Stake, Aiden Ross, and Drake, and for what it's worth, George Wynn, a.k.a. the Grand Wizard Chat N-word that runs Academics TV. They all were named in this fiendish plot, and I did a whole video that they were, in essence, a criminal organization that was on their way. They're not going to really... Probably he got so much money and he's based over in Australia. It's going to be hard to bring him down, but they're doing a lot of shady shit over there, gang. I'm just going to be honest. That's why that lawsuit came out. The lawsuit that's saying, we're going to talk about that they're usurping the laws here in America. There are laws that say you can't gamble, you can't use gambling apps in America, but Stake and others have found a way around that by offering sweepstakes coins. They are coins that come bundled up when you buy the gold coins. From these sites, they offer an alternative sweepstakes coin. So that coin is usually it's a cash coin, but they can't sell you cash to directly buy and use on slots. So what they do is offer you, they buy you buy the gold coins, and then they bundle that in with some sweepstake coins that can be turned in. If you happen to win, you could turn those sweepstake coins in for real cash prizes and rewards. So they used a whole lot of terminology to make it where we're not gambling, we're playing sweepstakes. So now they've used that, and most of these sites are out of the country. They're on foreign land that has no jurisdiction here. So end of the day, that's how they're working their way around the law. So that class action lawsuit is saying no. It's several things that you guys are neglecting to tell your customers, this, that, and the third. So they're acting for a class action lawsuit. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, gang. Like I said, it's a deeper, darker criminal link. And what they're doing now, what we have seen, Bloomberg has pulled out even more receipts, right? Your boy Drake, listen, I know a lot of you people you kind of laugh and make goony goo jokes about the bubble brat. We at Drake's expense, we take a lot of shots, but Drake right here, gang, Drake ain't really tripping off all this rapping shit. That's why our Iceman is going on 2 years in the making. Drake really over here streaming and doing this thing for the owners of Stake and Kick and this, that, and the third, because Drake gets a lot of money, and what they for these bringing these gambling addictions to these kids and these adults and things of that nature. So what's going on is Drake gets paid to do that. He gets paid to be in Australia when he did that tour, the Anita Max Win tour, when he threw that chancleta at that drone that supposedly flew up I don't know how many stories to the penthouse and somehow surprised Drake on his laptop gambling, and he looks up. He didn't want anyone to know that he was up there gambling, so he takes off the chancleta and throws it at the drone, which is when I told you I knew it was fake when I saw how wide he threw that shoe at that drone. I said, oh, he ain't trying to hit that drone. This whole video fake, right? That's what I knew was fake. So end of the day, right? You like, Challz, come on, the whole shit was fake. What you talking about? But end of the day, this is why he can go to Australia and do those videos and do those tours and things of that nature, because he gets a lot of money to do so. I believe that they said that Drake is a part, he has a stake in Stake. So that means when you see him gambling, he has a stake in that company. It is a massive billion-dollar company that is paid to just suck people in and get them to spend all their money and all their, you know what I'm saying, you use every single drop of cachet they got to get more money, and mom, you got $10, like just all kind of money to put into these gambling apps. And that is Drake's whole purpose. So I know we like to clown and make fun of him about this Iceman, this, that, and the third. But Drake really, his real focus is drawing in people to use this gambling app. Now, what's going on is that's in and of itself, that's one issue. But when you're cheating, right? When you're using the house's money and you're using apps, and the apps are set up a certain way that you can win 4 times more when you're on the stream, that looks really good to a potential client, to someone you're trying to suck in or sucker, where you're trying to make them think that they can do it too. Drake has $9 million in his account, and I can do the same thing if I just play the games he plays and I do what he does, and I try to recreate the things that if I just stay the course, I can do the same things that he does. Well, it ain't that simple, because he's hitting 4 times more than the average person on certain apps, certain games. Now they have exclusive games. Stake has certain games that they license out. Right, it'll be other. You know how back in the day, like when we used to play Activision and we would play, they would make these different games. Well, it would be a company that made specific games and they licensed them to Sega or whoever it was, and then Sega would have their own games. So Stake has their own exclusive games, and then some games are licensed out. They're saying that the games that he plays tend to have him hit 4 times more than the next closest person or whatever it is. I'm going to read this article. We're going to have a conversation. But gang, when you're pretending to make $1 million bet on the Dallas Cowboys, this, that, and the third, but you're not disclosing that money is from Stake in of itself, so you're not really losing, that is a problem, right? That is a deeper, darker link when you're telling people, I just bet $2 million on the Patriots, right? And you really didn't bet nothing. You're making it like you're betting stuff and you're slapping Stake on it. Then you got 400 million people seeing that because it's a Super Bowl situation. And then you go and you really didn't lose nothing. We saw that didn't lose. We saw as soon as he bet on the Patriots, we was like, oh goddamn, Patriots going to lose. And they damn sure by the second quarter it was just clear that they was going to lose. And we all know it. I put on my Twitter, I think it was fucking 2 minutes before the half, I said, yeah, Drake lose this game for the Patriots, but just by betting on them. So end of the day, it happened. He lost, but we don't know if he really lost that. I mean, we don't know how much money he's really losing or winning. That is the problem. When you're putting out these posts that you have these massive wins and this, that, and the third. I do know he sometimes try to make it like, well, gambling ain't all it's cracked up to be, but that's not his job to dissuade you from gambling. His job is to suck you in. So when you make these posts about Anita Max win and this, that, and the third, and you're streaming for 2 hours, gambling nonstop, right? And you're making it look like, okay, I went down a little bit, but if I just stay focused and keep at it, I could come back up. Well, that's gambling, and that will make someone addicted to gambling by watching you, and they want to recreate what you're doing because they think at the end of the rainbow there's a Nita Max win, there's a massive hit. That is deception in advertising, and you're not disclosing that you're getting paid to do that to a degree. So end of the day, I want to read this article because what's going on, this whole crypto casino thing, is one big, it's a whole scam and a scheme at the end of the day. Nobody wins but the people at the top of this. So let's have this conversation. So first things first, what you need to know is that Drake is paid by Ed Craven and Bijan Tarani. They founded Stake and they run Stake, and they believe that it's the largest crypto-backed online casino in the world. And what they do is they get these influencers, it's the smartest shit ever. They get these influencers like Drake and others, right? And these streamers, this, that, and the third, with these massive followers. If you want to get all the kids, well, you're gonna have to get you a streamer or two, right? And you're gonna have to get a little farm of people that's gonna take the clips of these streamers and flood the internet with them. So they pay a whole farm of clippers that sit there and clip up these Stake things, and they get paid. I believe it was something like, if they got 1 million streams, I think I heard something like $400, $500 if the stream hits 1 million. If the short that they clip up hits 1 million views, this, that, and the third. So it's lucrative, right? If you sit there and clip this up, right? I know some of you like, well, tell me more. How'd I get this fucking job? But end of the day, that's what they do. They have these farmers that sit there and clip up these clips and post them out and try as hard as they can get it to get these things to go up. So you got that, you got Drake, you got XQC and all these other guys out there sitting there gambling online for hours, this, that, and the third, making it look like they're winning, but you're not winning anything if it's the house money. Now, I get it. They have to use some of their money, because it's not just he's going to flood them. That's not going to work either for and business wise. So they got to use their own money, then they reimburse them, this, that, and the third. So it's a whole lot, because we know that happened because Drake was getting upset. Last year we saw it was a Zoom, right? That he was on the Zoom with these guys, and I guess it didn't go how he wanted it to go. So then he went in the chat of one of these guys that was online talking about, yo, this guy didn't pay me back, what, da da da. So that's how we found out that they get reimbursed when they're gambling. And other things came up before this Bloomberg article that showed us that they're gambling with the house money, which they try to deny. So end of the day, we're seeing a whole thing where a lot of guys are kind of using their own money. Nobody knows exactly, except for them, how it's really working, because this guy can't just give them all money, right? So it's got to be a kind of give and take type of thing where they get a certain percentage, but some of that money that they're losing really is their money. So it's a give and take kind of thing, and we don't know the ins and outs, but we do know that they do get paid a lot from Stake, and I don't know where it goes from there and who's this, that, and the third. We don't know how much of a stake that Drake gets kicked back for every guy that loses money, every guy that dumps in $100, whatever. We don't know how much he gets back from that. So it's a lot of loose ends, but we do know that they're doing a lot of funny business over there. Let me finish reading this article. Drake does not officially own a reported part of the crypto casino Stake, but has a massive long-term partnership with the company, estimated to be worth $100 million annually. Now listen, you can get all that, but if you're addicted to gambling and you're just gambling nonstop, you're going to take some hefty losses, because it's only a certain amount that he's going to pay you no matter what's going on, right? If you're gambling beyond the means of that, then you got a problem, gang. And I'm sure that all these guys are gambling beyond the means of what they're getting from this guy. I'm just going to be honest. I think one year they said, I think Drake ran up through $125 million in 1 year, like just on one of the sites. I don't know what if it was Stake or not, but they estimated it was something like allegedly 125 million back and forth, just pushing click and spinning on the slot. So that is insanity, gang. So it ain't these things add up. $50,000 spin, 10,000, 50,000, whatever they doing over there. I don't know what they got going on, but because I don't watch it. But at the end of the day, those add up. No matter how many millions, if you can give me $30 million. If I sit there for a month straight doing $50,000 spins, it add up, gang. I'm just gonna be honest. So end of the day, I don't know how high the spins go. Even if it's 5,000, that adds up, bro. Because the slots take more than they give. Okay, so end of the day, it adds up, and then when you get in the hole, it ain't no out of the hole. So we don't know where he's at with this, with his money and their money, because they don't just front you everything. So let me continue. Allegedly, he got $100 million annually. He acts as a key brand ambassador and influencer, using provided house money for his highly publicized large sum gambling streams on the platform. Well, we already knew them big giant bets, they was already house money. We don't know how much of that he really is risking, that, if anything at all. So we don't know. And my question is, how much what's the purpose of doing that if you win? Like, if you win and what do dudes scoop all of it back? Like, what? it kind of negate the fun of it. I'm just gonna be honest. At the end of the day, you're not playing for fun. This is a deeper, darker criminal link. This is an organization that is 100%. I told you they do those stake. This is in the lawsuit that they got those stake tipping. They have a tipping app on there where you could push money through that without the money being accounted for. So they most of the time when you move a certain amount of money, the government going to see that and they're going to be like, yo, where's this money going? Where's it coming from? Well, allegedly with this stake app, you could push 100 grand, 200 grand, whatever it is through the stake tipping. I could tip you 100 grand because I believe they saw that, I think it was either Drake gave Adin Ross or Adin Ross gave Drake 100 grand on their birthday through the tipping app, right? They didn't alert no red flags because it's under the radar and it's through this app. And this is what they're saying, that this is how things could get murky. Okay, let me continue. Drake exposed for allegedly winning unrealistic amount of games on stake by Cole Blake. This is on hotnewhiphop.com, if I'm not mistaken. It's more than one article, but this is the one I'm going to read now. Drake is already facing a class action lawsuit against Stake and Adin Ross for their gambling live streams. He's coming under fire for allegedly winning stake games 4 times more often than the average player game. Do you know how hard that is? Like, if we could sit there and quantify that and watch and just watch your films and just add up what we're seeing, what they're doing is they watched you gamble, and then they watch the next person and they see the stats and they're like, yo, to hit 4 times more, that is absurd. There is no way to do that on a regular basis. For them to watch you for several months and see that on a regular basis, you're winning 4 times more. There is no way to quantify that. That means somebody's cheating, somebody lying. Okay, let me continue. According to a new investigation from Bloomberg New Business Week, the rapper has been significantly more successful than other users while playing slot games operated by Stake's parent company, Easy Go Entertainment. To make matters more interesting, his success rate plummets to typical averages while playing third-party games. So when they have a third-party licensed game that they can't control, they can't touch with, they can't fool with the knobs and the buttons, they can't fiddle with the numbers and the code, it's regular. He regular dude walking down the street, walking in the casino. It's just you and me and you, homie. Listen, good luck tonight, right? But when he get on them stake games, them exclusive games, oh buddy, this dude the champion. I'm the champion. Like, this is a champion game. So listen, it's different, and that is a problem. That is a real problem, because when you go live, when you're streaming, people are watching you to see how well you do, so then they can go and do the same thing. If they think that it's possible to win 4 times more, they see you keep going, woo, da da da. They start to think that is possible for them. That is a literal definition of a scam. That is a scam. Okay, let me continue. For the report, Bloomberg Businessweek studied 1,500 hours of live footage from 25 players. They found that Drake won big twice as frequently as the next luckiest bettor. So out of 25 guys, the closest guy, the guy that did the best out of them, he doubled their output, right? So Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike, they watching all them gamble. Bobby just keep hitting. Oh, he like this. Bobby like, yo, I'm that nigga up in here. Fuck y'all nigga. Bobby, and then he look up and then Drake done double and triple what he got going on. Gang, it's a problem. It's a problem. They said that homeboy that owned Stake was watching Drake one night and he just kept losing. He said, listen, you're choosing horrible games. He started telling them what games, and he dumped some more money into his shit on the line. He said, listen, here's some more money and go ahead and choose these games and da-da-da. And he started hitting. It is what it is, gang. This is not allegedly. That happened, apparently, but I'm going to say allegedly anyway. Let me continue. The report comes as Drake, Stake, and Adin Ross are facing a class action lawsuit that their live streams using the platform mislead users about the risk and rewards of gambling. The filing accuses Drake and Ross of glamorizing a highly addictive product that threatens the welfare of Missouri residents and especially its young people. They have both denied any wrongdoing. Drake has been posting about his bets on Stake since reportedly signing a $100 million endorsement deal with the company in 2022. Now, there's something with how much he gets paid and doesn't get paid on the gambling side. He gets paid straight up for the endorsement. So that's off the top. Now, he run through that money, shit, ice cold. We don't know what to tell you. So at the end of the day, they got him on some back end stuff that they can't really talk about. But off the rip, he already getting his money for just telling y'all, go to Stake. That's it. That was back in 2022. So he get that, bang, bing, bang, bing. It is what it is. So let me continue. Stake told Bloomberg Business Week that their findings were categorically incorrect, arguing that comparing win rates across different games ignores how game mathematics works. That's true. That's true. But if they sat there, gang, you can say that. That's true to a degree. But if they sit there for 1,500 hours, that ain't mathematics no more. They're adding you up. They're adding what you did in that time frame. They're adding up to 25 other guys. They're adding up their stretch and how they're doing it, and then they're looking at the specific games. They're paying attention to all that, gang. There's not no mathematics right here. At some point, they're watching you play Silly Sandman, whatever the game is called, and they're saying, "Yo, this motherfucker hitting like shit on Silly Sandman for 1,500 hours. We watching this motherfucker." So, end of the day, at some point, it ain't mathematics no more when you keep hitting on specific games. That ain't mathematics no more. The odds of hitting slots is very, very low. It's not an easy thing to do. So end of the day, if they're watching you and you just keep hitting for 15, you know how long 1,500, do you have any idea how long that is? That's insanity. That's not like 2 hours, gang. That's days, months. That's a very long time. So end of the day, no, you're not just going to say that's mathematics. No, that's not this. Let me continue. Stake co-founder Ed Craven previously shut down the idea of brand influencers getting better odds in a blog post in 2022. Quote, "I can assure everyone that despite certain widespread notions of odds being rigged in some people's favor or money not being real, we have no direct control of the odds of any of our games as these are controlled by a third party." Not all of them, apparently. He wrote at the time. Now, for this stuff to already been whispering back in 2022, where there's smoke, there's fire. Somebody that's smart was watching this like, gang, something's up, right? These people just sitting there like, yo, yeah, bro, just keep winning on whatever game that is, like Super Slot 4. Like, I don't know, but he's just sitting there just winning nonstop. And he does it every night. Every night I come on here when he get to this certain game. So they starting to watch and take notes and figure out something's not right. So people was already on this for years. This is not no new situation. But when you're a criminal organization, you got to keep getting paid somehow, some way till they catch you. Catch me if you can on some Leonardo DiCaprio shit. Let me continue. He wrote at the time, quote, "Odds are the same for all players regardless of their sponsorship status, and money spent by promoters is very real. Real odds, real money, real players. These are things I believe should be the industry norm when it comes to influencer marketing, and they should be. And that's exactly what he's supposed to say. He's saying he's all the right lingo. He's saying everything that you should be saying. If you're the owner of stake, a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate, and you got stake over there with his hand in the pot, yeah, you're gonna say all that. And this is why what we're starting to understand is Drake only really streams with other guys that are doing the same thing. This is why he doesn't stream with academics. No, he doesn't really like academics. Yes, he thinks academics is a cornball. That's true. But academics himself just said this about a month ago, that the real reason that Drake really won't sit down and stream with him, besides the fact that he's a cornball and a goofball, right? And he's a fanboy that's going to get too giddy gumdrop, and Drake don't want to see that. Right? He knows all of that is true. He wouldn't do it just for that. But the bottom line is he can't make no money with Ak. He sitting on a stream with Ak ain't gonna make the kind of money he gonna make sitting on a stream with Aiden Ross gambling or doing whatever gambling. When he got deals that say he has to gamble and stream. So him sitting down with academics, besides the fact that he think academics is just whack, just be honest. He don't like them. But end of the day, when you peel back all the layers, he get money to he streams with people that's going to get more eyeballs back to stake. It ain't a lot of time wasted. This is a deeper, darker criminal link. These guys on some criminal shit because they're doing a lot of slick, underhanded shit. Just to be honest, money laundering and this, that, and the third. That's why they came out with a RICO on them. But the thing with these cases against these casinos are slick and slippery. Gang, Teflon. So a lot of these cases get dropped, and that probably will get dropped too. Now, if the federal government pick it up, then that's a whole different ballgame. Then you're talking about somebody snitching. At some point, somebody going to get down and lay down. I guarantee you, Aiden Ross will be the first one. So at the end of the day, it's whatever, man. I'm just going to leave it at this, man. We're seeing all this stuff unravel. Clearly, this stuff, it walk like a duck, it quack like a duck, it's a duck. They clearly handing him the money to bet and this, that, and the third. Now, I'm going to be honest, he's still losing his own money too, though. It ain't no thing where everything you gambling. At some point, a gambler needs a thrill. and you gambling with somebody else's money that you got to hand back, that ain't no thrill at all, okay? So I promise you, some of this gambling he's doing, some of this money, a lot of this money really is real money, and he get reimbursed for some of it. But homeboy taking losses, gang. Let's just be honest. At the end of the day, you don't respect money when somebody handed it to you when it ain't no real risk to it. You can't respect that because you can't get no money back for that. And you're not going to sit there all day and gamble for show. You're not going to do that either. So at the end of the day, some of this shit is real, gang. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Ain't enough money in the world to make a gambler fake gamble for hours. That's silly. I'm just gonna be honest. Bro is a gambler, right? All these motherfuckers, they really real gamblers. They're not gonna sit there and celebrate fake wins. So I promise you, they taking real losses, gang, and real hits. Okay, let's just be honest. So, but at the end of the day, they can't pretend that they're winning with money that's not theirs. They can't pretend to take the house money of the same house that they're getting paid to gamble at. They can't take that money and then go around and show you, look at all this money, I got all these G's, I'm counting my G, and now you go out and do the same thing and you bust it. That's it, man. I'm going to leave it at that, man. Let me know what you think in the comment. Is that cheating? And to you, is it cheating? I don't know, but to me and everybody else in the free world, right? Clarence got some really big, fuck the free world. Listen, everybody in the free world, in the real world, we know that that's cheating, okay? I'm going to leave it at that, man. Let me know what you think in the comments. CLBMG. Head on over to black-yeti.com. You got to put the dash in the middle. Let them know who sent you. Also, every Wednesday night, we go live on The What Show. Me, TJ, and Fliz. Tap in. Get my links, man. I got that Temu link down there. Make sure you lock it. Tap that Temu link, $100 discount. This, that, and the third. And you got the ReStream link down there. That's how I go. I go live on 8 platforms at the same time. I got a link to that. Get a discount just by using my link, and I got a link to DistroKid. You get a discount for using my DistroKid link. I'm out of here, man. We got a new video called This That off the What Project. Me, TJ, and Fliz, we barking on that project. A lot of people, the motherfucker told me shit deserve a Grammy. Listen, it is what it is. Go listen to it. Let me know what you think, man. Watch that video. Get in the comments. I'm out of here, man. I'm gonna catch y'all on that flip side. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine.
Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.
Get my coat, get my sheepskin, grab my wallet, get my pocket knife, and get that hat right there. We out. Grab my pocket knife too. Let's go. When I first came to the city, niggas didn't believe me. I just wanted to join a team and throw assist pass easily. 6 man off the bench, alley-oop pass freely. Suit up for one game and hope a scout might see me. But nah, niggas is greedy, wasn't rocking with him. Unplugged the scoreboard, put a lock on the gym. Told me to power forward, point guard at the rim. And left me with no center and a ball full of phlegm. Not knowing that I'm a dog, a Rottweiler within. With the heart of a pit bull that don't bark for pretend. My bites cut deep, break the bone and the skin. With the level of hustlenomics you do not comprehend. So first I took a block down on the west side end. And then secured a spot with some goons and some kin. And then sent out some flyers, let the games begin. And in 6 months time, the city like that's him. Oh yeah, he the one that moved the hustle to the burbs. And yeah, he the one that knocked the hustlers off the curb. And yeah, he the one that set up shop without a word. And he the one that got it cracking. And all he did was rapping by the Hooters. I kept killers from being shooters. Put a mic in a thug's hand, now he loyal like Pats fans. Take a man off the streets past the needles and crack cans. Promise mama to keep him safe, then put some food in his face and he'll kill for you. But I don't need him for that. Click like, click share, tell them bitches we back. Share the whole location, tell them niggas where we at. Cause we out here, we ain't the cheese, we the trap.